piece, which, but as I said, it's not the case that just teaching in Sindhi alone automatically means there's high literacy and numeracy and all of that. So, but yeah, I think there is willingness in this space, and I think there's some very interesting work happening in this space. So maybe we'll have something to offer to Finland in this space in a few years. In terms of what we can learn from them, I honestly think, and it's just a hypothesis, but it's food for thought for everyone. My hypothesis is that if somehow, through multiple means, you're able to make teaching a society's top choice profession, then maybe lower wages, poorer work environments, poorer teacher preparation, and you might still have really good people coming into the teaching profession and creating really good impact, despite all of the other levers not working. So, but I do understand to get to a place of, having a good, positive societal perception, you need all of these other things to work as well. But I think that's really one of the things that struck me most, is that it's such a passion profession there. And so, advocacy has been such a big part of our work, is constantly, putting out messages about what a teacher's work is, why it's important, why it's specialized, why it's not a layman profession, and, just trying to glorify the profession. So I think, yeah, that was one learning, at least from my visit to Finland. I'll stop there.
Thank you. The reason I asked that question was because, we are talking about collaboration, so it has to be like, what can Pakistan also bring to the table? So I think we're getting there, where we're kind of discovering. So Azra, if you had you were given the task to design a joint initiative on education between Finland and Pakistan, small but something that was high impact, what would it focus on? And essentially what area would you focus on, like curriculum design, teachers training, or digital innovation? Or anything else entirely?
Okay, Shaisa, so I think as Salma had said that, just focusing on one area may not be the most sort of, we may not be able to see a lot of impact or a lot of changes. So whatever initiative we design, it's got to be a little more holistic. And from that perspective, I think that if I could design something, I would create a project that actually gets school leaders and, not just the teachers, but really school leaders, people who are in decision-making roles in education, to have some kind of collaboration where they can learn how Finland has been able to bring that ethos of trust, of quality, of teacher well-being, teacher empowerment, focusing on learning, and all the sort of, because I think that change, we can train teachers, but there's a lot of other pieces that need to be in place for teachers to implement what they have learned. And I think so some kind of program for school leaders to also focus on really changing their mindset, some kind of approach. And what I've also realized that through workshops and short courses, we may not be able to achieve that kind of change. So it has to be conceptualized as a slightly long-term engagement where people actually work together. So something which is not a one-shot activity because we just want to do it and we want to show that we did it, and so here's a check mark, but really sort of set out to say, how do we bring a change in the way leaders approach education, how they approach teachers' role, teacher development, but also education, the parents' involvement, and all of it. So I think that's probably what I say. Technology can, of course, help in bridging those distances and enabling that kind of collaboration.
Lovely.
Teachers, yeah, and I would say it does start with teachers, because I mean, what research does show us is that most of a child's learning is governed by what happens outside of school, right? It's the home environment. Now, as educators, that's not in our degree of control. So what is in our degree of control is, all of the parameters of the school, and a very large part of that is your teacher. So in terms of, moral development and the value system that Azra was referring to, really in terms of, what things we can change in a system, it is the teacher, it's the school culture, it's the leadership and all of those things. What was it? Money, that's the one, thank you. I said this earlier and I'll stand by it. Money has to be one of the things, and it's a very important one, and I'll still say, even despite raising pay scales, we're still not paying teachers enough. Really not competitive with the medical profession, I'll tell you that. I mean, if I'm not wrong, doctors are inducted in BPS 17, that's basic pay scale 17. We're still at 16 with teachers. So there's still more to be done there, but what I'm trying to say is it's not enough. It has to be all of this better work environment. I mean, it's all of the things, Essence Hub, that you would consider when you're taking up a profession, right? You want that work environment, you want the pathway, you want good colleagues, you want a pathway, and all of those things will apply to any profession that we're trying to build up, I would say.